Greetings, everyone. So, just thought thought I'll try to be consistent with the videos and just go live like every Monday or something like that. Whether I have something new to say, new content, or just something in random, or just stay available for any questions and things like that. I also have another thought that, in terms of the orders and things, I was thinking of putting one of the cameras, like a live cam, just to show as the orders get printed. You might see your order getting printed. You might see somebody else's. There won't be anything to identify uh, who ordered what, but at least you know, if you're curious, you get to see some process. That's only part of it. The other side is the post work, and that's what I'm doing a lot of right now these days. You know, for those who don't know, you can't really see it, don't think, but there's a lot of stringies that sometimes get printed, and these things need to get cleaned up. And I see a lot of stuff over here in this area. The bottom side I'm not too worried about because unless someone flips the prop upside down, no one's really going to care to see it. But there's little things that do need to get cleaned up, like this area here, and but so there's a lot of stringies that do need to get removed before I can take it to the next step in getting things out. So, and with that said, the only other update that I have really is that I am now working on getting the another console thing out. For those who order the, I don't have one. For those who order the, I think it's called the command consoles. You can arrange this middle console so you can end up having like a little octagon shaped console set up. So this is kind of like an end table, and it's angled here at 45, and that's the reason why the command table is also at 45, so you can kind of join them together and have a semicircle, an octagon shape. So the next step is I need to come up with some sort of display piece for the acrylics, and similar table. Similar legs to the table, so everything is pretty much compatible to what's already designed. And of course, there's another console that is just straight. So if you don't want to have something at an angle, you can also put something straight. So working on little things like that. But other than that, I'm just busy today. So I was thinking every Monday, just to do like some sort of live video and just be consistent like that. So I think Monday is going to be a DioWarriors live broadcast day. I'm just checking Facebook to see if there's any comments and things like that. I'm working on the orders, so if you haven't gotten any emails of the orders yet, don't worry, I'm still working on them. I have, I'm getting 2 ready to go out. I hope Tuesday or Wednesday I'll have another set of 2 that have been pending for a long time to get those 2 out. And the parts are finishing up. I have to wait for them they're smooth, so I have to wait for them to dry to the point where I can touch them and put them into a bag. If not, during transit, they'll stick to the bag. And then when you open them up, it'll be all ugly. So let's see, any comments here. Okay. I got the comment section up, so if any questions or something, I'll be able to see. Except on my Facebook wall, I'll have to switch tabs to that. So okay. So anyways, I also have another video in the works. I did a lot of post editing. Mostly it's like a figure review, but I'm trying to do my own style. I'm trying to, do the typical figure thing. It moves like this, moves like that. All that stuff is good. But if you already have figures and stuff like that, compatible to these or comparable to these, then I'm trying to just cut through the chase and go to where it's different. And I'm trying to do a little bit more like Terminator style, to show like some little graphics pointing here, there. But I don't have the software capable of it, and I struggled a lot yesterday trying to do what the software that I have cannot easily do. So I'm going to have to wait till I have a better graphics card to use. I think it's called DaVinci, which is a very good, I think it's free, video editing program. So I got this Cobra Trooper from Walmart about 2 weeks ago, and it's very Fortnite in construction, especially with the feet, the lower legs, and to give a quick, it does have upper leg swivel that you don't get with your standard Hasbro figure, or actually not figure, Joe figure. Like the previous one, you're not going to get an upper swivel on that, just the feet swivel. But in this figure also is where it's different. Has a swivel on the boot, so a bit more articulation than your standard modern era Joe figure. But so I have a video like that coming, and where I do focus on the differences. There's a few other areas that are different. So other than that, it's not too much. I've been quite busy in terms of design. I've been trying to get things going. I've been feeling a little bit on the burnout side. So I've been countering that as best as I can, keep momentum going. I have some parts that are finished. So instead of just sitting here and talking to the camera, I was thinking I'm just going to be busy, be productive, and y'all can see for a while, what I do. So let me know in the comments and stuff, whether it's the video or Facebook or wherever, if you're curious to have like a second camera set up to kind of view the prints as the prints go. It won't be like a 24-hour cam. It'll be like during the day, like like working hour type thing, and then at night, I suppose, depending how well I can get the lighting set up. I have these little USB light things. Here's one. They're on a gooseneck kind of thing. It's just an LED light pointing to each of the printers. It's not that much light, so in the camera, it may not pick a lot of detail. It might be kind of grainy, but maybe for this one. But I could get a light strip and I can put some lights on there, and that might be something to do. So let me know if y'all are curious or interested in that, and I'll do that. Okay. So let's see. Now I'm just going to resume what I was doing and show as I do things, I guess. Where's my knife? I need a knife. Oh, here it is. So, by the way, and a little update on the machines. I'm going to start that one in a few minutes. So the printers, a number of them are down, and I've been doing maintenance on them. I have Several of the little ones need maintenance. I haven't been able to touch them and actually do what they need to get done. Is that when they go down, it may be a couple days before I can get them back up. Specifically, the build plate has, and again, I don't have one to show, but the build plate has kind of like a textured surface, which is a sticker, and it's kind of like a sandpaper, like a very fine grit sandpaper. So I need to replace them, because as you pull the parts off, over time, the glue of that sticker tends to get bad in certain areas, and so it begins to lift. So you end up having these, you end up having a smooth surface with a little bubble, or if it doesn't have a bubble, it'll have a tear, and then so you'll have like a part that's printed without a raft. Okay, it's just printed directly on the surface, but because it has a tear, there's like a little bump on the bottom as the plastic, goes to what's underneath that tear. So a number of them have these areas where there is a tear, and I need to replace those. And to do that, you have to. It's not easy, but you have to remove the sticker portion. And of course, it's going to fight you, because it's not, it's designed to secure, to stay securely and not to lift. So you're trying to lift it. That's going to take a while. And then the other thing is, I need to then prepare the surface by removing all of the leftover glue, anything that's got stuck to the metal plate, and get that really smooth, alcoholic, to make sure everything is all flat, almost to the point of polish, just smooth. And then get a replacement sticker piece and put it on, and that would be it. It's just the removing and then making sure everything's clean is the time-consuming part. If it's done well enough, I don't have to recalibrate anything. But if I treat it roughly and stuff, yeah, I'll have to. So I'm going to try to be gentle and soft with it, and that's where it takes more time, because you're not rushing it, where you're just trying to be slow and gentle. So I got several machines like that I need to do that with. I got a machine up here that I worked on for maintenance, but something happened. Okay, the way a lot of these printers are set up, you have the plastic that goes through a Teflon tube. Then it goes into a heater block area. And so there's usually, it's going to be an area that has a heat sink. So it's like a metal tube usually, and it has heat sink fins. And then it goes to the heater block, and then it comes out through the nozzle. So this whole area is referred to as a throat. So in this throat area, there's some places, some manufacturers put a small Teflon tube inside. So you have a Teflon tube that goes on outside, connects, the filament passes through, and then on the inside of all of this assembly, you have another Teflon tube that goes all the way to the nozzle. So what happens sometimes, if you get a clog, sometimes you have to remove the nozzle or some other part and try to force the clog out one way or another, or simply replace the nozzle if the clog is too much. So in my case, I replaced the nozzle. So I put a fresh nozzle in, and it still didn't want to extrude. So that means that there was a clog further up the throat. So one way to to solve that is you take something like a filament or something else, and you jam it from the top down, try to force it out. It doesn't come out that way. You try the other direction. And in my case, I think I tried the other direction, and it came out. Then the Teflon tube just simply dropped. So it's like, okay, I'll just put it back in. So I did, and then I screwed the nozzle back. But I think there's a gap between the nozzle, the threaded part of the nozzle, and the bottom of that tube that's in the heater block, because plastic is oozing its way out. So it's finding an area to go through, and it's coming out. So every so often I have to cool down that machine, take my needle nose pliers and pull off the excess plastic, and then continue. So I can't really do big prints with that one. I can do small ones, because what happens with the big prints is if I'm not fast enough to remove the oozed plastic, it will bulge into a ball essentially, and then drop right onto the print. And so, I have to work with that machine again. And that one's going to be a bit more of a challenge now, because all that plastic, if I work with it when it's cold, then the plastic is going to be hard, and I'm not going to be able to do a good job to clean it. So I'm actually thinking of replacing that heater block area, which is not extremely hard to do. It's just I have never done it on these machines. And so I need to look for reference material, YouTube videos or something, to see how it's removed on these machines. Some of these manufacturers, they'll have the heat sink area and the heater block really, really tight, or sometimes even as one custom piece. So to remove it, you have to buy the whole assembly. So I don't know how it is on these machines, but I do know that if I try to loosen the heater block, everything on top of that wants to spin and turn. So I got to figure out how do people remove it. So until then, I'm going to be just cleaning the thing every so often. So, and then that brings me to this machine. Oops, I'm bumping into a table. This machine behind me. Okay, you can't really see it from there, but I have to do some maintenance on it. So this is the part that would have gone in front. The fan died, and on the last video that I was doing, where it was acting crazy, it started to do some prints. Okay, and so it did one print, several hours. It worked well. I don't know about, okay, the print came out well. The machine though, and I started to do a second print, and I noticed that there was problems. The thing was not properly extruding, and it turns out that the fan, this little thing here, stopped spinning. It just died. So I have to take it apart, and I've never worked on this machine at this level. So I had to take it apart and replace the fan. Now the thing is that this fan doesn't have a little connector. It's just wires, a black and a red wire, and it strings all the way to here. So it's one big, huge, long wire, probably about that long. And so in other words, I gotta cut it and splice the wire from the new fan with the wires here to make it easier. If not, it's going to have to get strung through this black fabric wire organizing tube, and that's just going to be a nightmare. So the easiest way is just to splice the fan wires with the new fan and put it together. New fan hasn't arrived yet. The other thing is because it was doing a print when the fan died, that means that plastic started to heat up in areas. Remember, this is called the throat. So in this area here, heat started to creep up, past the heat sink into this area right there. And this was hot. And it's not supposed to be hot. So, in other words, I got melted plastic that cooled up here. And that's going to be a problem. So when I get the fan, I'm going to have to also disconnect almost everything you see here. And I think while it's hot, I'm not quite sure, try to clear out the inside of any leftover filament, any dried up plastic, things like that, and then reassemble everything, and then hope everything works well. So that machine was taking up the slack. It's one of the better machines. Both machines here are good, but this one had the least problems until then. So when you invest in a 3D printer, be aware that some of the parts may be cheaper than others. Like a fan that doesn't have a good ball bearing type design. In this case, I suspect it's only an axle and maybe an oil reserve inside. That's my suspicion. And of course, you don't want to just replace it with any fan. You want a fan that's going to have the same, movement of air. And so it could be tricky. So that's going to be later this week. The parts are on order, and they will arrive, I think, tomorrow one, and then Wednesday another. So maybe Thursday or Friday you'll see me. Maybe I'll set up the cam. I don't know if I'll do a live maintenance thing, or I'll just record it and then edit the video. So that way I could do like a time lapse on areas that I'm just taking a long time with. I mean, maybe I could do both. So go live and record it at the same time. So today I'm going to continue with this machine. I'm doing more VSS bridges. This is the port side. I got to do the starboard side, and so that way I keep a set going. So this one's taking up the slack of the big prints right now. And so I'm monitoring the fans on that one, because if this one died, this is the newer machine. This one's older by maybe 2 months. So I'm expecting the fan on that one to die soon as well. So yeah, so this is, the adventure of it's one thing, when you own your own business and you have your own machines, you're doing the manufacturing yourself. You have to not just supplies for shipping and things like that, or the plastics you need to manufacture, but also you have to be aware that you may have to service your own machines when they break down, because machines do wear and tear and they do break down. And it's one reason why I try to have multiple machines of the same kind. And it's not necessarily because I'm a big fan of that particular brand, but because if one is working well and I'm pleased with it, I try to have a backup to it. And so while that machine is down, I'm trying to do other things with it, clean up the areas in the back. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on doing the videos and everything. And and one of the small machines over here might be acting up. I'm not 100% sure. Um, there was a point recently where I started to run out of filament. So I was using my reserves, and the reserves that I had were the cheap filaments that I got when at the beginning of the lockdowns and everything. Um, I was already stocking up on supply just in case there's was a shipping issue and people were not, would not be able to get supplies from China and things like that on the plastics. So I started to accumulate, and it got to the point where the plastic brands that I normally buy, they were getting sold out, and of course, no guarantee that they'll get a replacement anytime soon. So my plan B, my backup plan, was to just go ahead and get the next quality down, not in terms of quality in terms of the filament, but in terms of like the pricing quality. So because you get different makers out there, and some of them, they produce filament the same quality as everyone else, but for a higher price. And then others produce the same, is PLA. Okay, so it's PLA, and so some of them produce PLA plastics for cheaper. Now, I usually avoid the cheaper, inexpensive ones, because in the past I would have issues where the consistency of the filament's not the same. So as it goes into the machine, the the consistency of the diameter would might get a little bit thicker, and that will get stuck into the machine and cause a jam. So then I started to avoid the inexpensive filaments, and but when everyone else is getting sold out of your quality stuff, you have to go then the next level down. And so hopefully don't use that filament. And so the idea is that it'll sit on the shelf. Hopefully, in terms of attrition, hopefully you'll outlast the lockdowns. So when supplies happen again and you're able to order your new stuff, you can just ignore the cheaper brands and just leave it on the shelf. Well, it got to the point where that happened. I won. I outlasted the shipping issues during the lockdowns, and then but then maybe about a month ago, it got to the point where I was just printing so much, and I was running out of what I normally have. So in terms of ordering from Amazon, sometimes Amazon will deliver on time, and then sometimes Amazon will say, there's a delay, and so it goes on for several times. Well, it was a point where I was getting like several delays. So instead of being delivered, like say on a Monday, it was on the Thursday, and then Thursday comes and I'm still waiting. There's nothing that's delivered, and I was getting, saying it's going to be delayed again. So I can't wait. So I started to just use my reserves. Well, one of the reserves was probably not very good, and the printer started to jam. So I replaced it with another reserve from a different maker. And so maybe that printer has the jam still inside it, but the new reserve wasn't extruding very well. So I just stopped it and said, okay, I'm not going to aggravate the situation, and I'm just going to just let it be until I can get a replacement quality brand filament. And so now I have those, and now I have to work with that machine and figure out if it's a jam that I can just work it out, i.e. forcing it out, or do I have to disassemble? And at one point I did have to disassemble the extruder part with it and then recalibrate the machine. And I'm wondering, well, did I do the if I did I replace the nozzle properly? Is it printing too close to the build plate? Do I have to recalibrate? Is that the issue? And so I got to work with that one as well. So maintenance issues. So sometimes you have to deal with machines like that, and that's just the printers. Oh, I moved the trash over here. So curious. This came out of the machine, the one that's oozing the black. But if I do small pieces, I can get away with it. So here's a small piece. This is for the it's the little middle control part for the VSS bridge. The only thing though is that I'm not using the. Am I? Yeah, this is regular PLA right here. So whereas this is PVB, this will smooth, and once it's applied with alcohol, this one it'll just stay this. So it's kind of on the matte black look. So this one is ready for an order. I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got to put this one over there. Be right back. Yeah, let's see. Other things are going crazy. I don't know what happened, but there was some electrical issue that occurred a couple of weeks ago, where I have these smart power strips. So all I have to do is just say, to an Echo device, for example, turn, printer number 1 on, turn printer number 2, turn on USB number 1, things like that, on or off. And it helps because I can set the thing up on a timer. Let's say at night when I know the machines have finished, if I'm dozing off after a certain time, the power can be turned off, turning off all the machines. Little things like that, convenience. Something happened, and several of them, I don't know if they're damaged, or I don't know if it's an update with something that controls them. I really don't know. Unfortunately, these are all Chinese brands. So maybe something happened with the software that controls them. But most of them are not recognized anymore. Some of them are, some of them are not. I don't know why. So I'm in the process of replacing all of them. So, it's another thing to figure out. So it's getting kind of crazy. And this is something that happened with it because software-wise, I was trying to figure out with my phone, the phone app for them. And I had one that I had through the app, I turned off, turn on, no reaction. So it was in the on state. So pressing the physical button, turn things off or on. But so I was trying to turn things off or on through the phone app, and so I had it on the on position, and so the thing is doing a print. It's like a 5-hour print. 3 hours in, it turns off, and of course I lose the print. And so maybe the software, something with the software, finally kicked in, and turned the machines off. So anyway, now I'm going back to regular old style, push button off or on switches. So I'm in the process of that. I'm trying to get them where they have a USB connector, because I have USB setups stuff. So I'm trying to do all of that with the USB, for lights and things. And the ones I like, the reviews say that the buttons, the switches, are the cheapest part of it. You can move the switches; they don't feel sturdy. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Go ahead and get the pieces. And parts of it feel sturdy, and parts of it does not. Well, let's see. I got this one is cooled down enough. I also need to see. What's on this USB piece. They're all on these little USB cards now. So what I need to do is I identified, I know the part here that I have to print, these pieces where I put the acrylic displays. I'm looking for another one that I have for, I don't have it here, but oh yeah, I have a gray one. Here's a prototype. So this one, the gray one, so this one is a bit wider than the black one that you just saw. So I got to look for that file and see about printing it. I need to print several of them. Prototypes. Okay. That's not good. I really got to work with this stuff. I really have to put like a prototype bag for the store, and then just sell up these prototypes that I use, but I don't have space for anymore. And I kind of wonder, would people be interested in that? See any comments in Facebook? Okay. Maybe I need to refresh this. Oh, nothing. Okay. So put this in, turn the USB on, and there's a USB hub. Open a new window. That one's not it. Oh, maybe this one. No, that's a stand section. So I have the folder for it, but I don't have the file. So let me hunt for that now. Everything needs to get reorganized. I'm looking for that file. themes, VSS. I keep it under the VSS directory. I need to move that to a furniture directory because, consoles are not necessarily for the VSS. They could be used anywhere. So which is it? I think I found it. I think. No. Oh, yes. I think I did find it. Okay, I just need to identify which is the proper file. Maybe I do it by date. Console 3A. Hi. Wide medium? Stand 5. Oh, I really need to come up with a better way to organize. Okay. Acrylic holder wide medium. Is this? The last time I worked on this one was in November. Yeah. No. It was this year. Well, the only thing I can do is just to grab it and print it. Cup here. Let's see if this works. There was a time when I was trying to make the connector for the acrylic part tighter. And so I was slowly, doing a small increment, making the thing smaller and smaller, making it tighter and tighter. And yeah. And so I have a couple of files like that. So which was the optimal? I may have to print this twice. So which was the best, the optimal print, the optimal design? It's one of two. So print, go up one level. Okay, let's try this one. Changing the temperature, changing the speed to 70%. Okay. Trying to figure out why these printers are not on because I have it. See, here's the other thing is that now I have to reach to these switches, and I can barely do it. Okay. So really, what I need to do besides maintenance on the machines, I also need to rewire everything here. And I'm thinking, everything else I got to work with too. So man, it's a mountain of things. I wish I can clone myself, just have multiple me's working on it. Apple juice, not beer. So the Marauder Kickstarter just finished. I didn't check the last final. I guess I should. What is it, like $500,000 on their Kickstarter, which is pretty good, pretty impressive. And I pledged, and I'm looking to get some of the figures. And let's see, let me find the Marauder Gunrunners. Here it is. Let's see what their final amount. Oh, okay, yeah. So 512,596. Yay! Congrats. Okay. Yeah. No, very good. Okay. Well. I also need to start this print, so I'll do it right now. Okay. What I need to do is print. Oh, no. I need to do the leveling. Leveling. Well, folks, that's about it. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see more of the 3D printers working. Sometimes it gets impressive to see all of them going. I have others in another room. I don't use those too much these days because they're older, and the smaller ones print more consistently. The older machines, fourth generation machines, they how to say, the getting everything to stick well, it's not quite there yet. Although I'm thinking about recalibrating. If I can do the if I can do it, this is what I was mentioning. Let me go get it. So here's one. This one is from Overture. They do some nice filament PLA stuff, and they have been pretty consistent. So I would recommend that brand. Um, so, anyways, this is one of the surfaces, and I'm thinking maybe I might be able to cut this size on one of the older machines and print directly on this, rather than the older machines has an acrylic. One of them has an acrylic. What you call it? Build plate, and another one has glass, borosilicate glass, and that one's got a surface of what's that tape? It's a yellowish thermal tape for high heat. Anyways, covered with that, and I was thinking, well, maybe because on that one it's tricky to print something like PLA, and I'm thinking, well, maybe this might actually work. I'll have to do a test, like, not permanently, but just, stick it on some tape or something like that. And maybe I could get, so some tape or something like that. So that way it can print on the surface itself, even with the acrylic machine that has acrylic for the build plate. And if it works well, maybe I would stick it on, but I think I need to do something a bit more safe. Like, for example, maybe I need to get some inexpensive acrylic and put it on the machines, and then with some binder clips, some small binder clips, just put the acrylic with secure it to the printer. So I'm thinking like that right now. And if that's the case, then I could use those older printers for the newer stuff that I'm doing, like new consoles. The only other thing is software. The software that I need for them, it's been acting kind of weird. But maybe I can resurrect one of these, like that machine back there, that computer. Maybe I can bring that computer. I can upgrade it and get it on again, and install the software there, and then just never update. Put like Windows 7 on there, and then just leave it alone. Just have it connect to my intranet, but not actually connect to the internet. And so, that's what I can use that machine for. Okay. Well, I have a busy day to do, so I'm going to get right back to it. Thanks everyone for watching. It's been about an hour, and I want to do these videos maybe about 15 minutes long, things like that. But sometimes when you don't really have a plan, you just wing it. It goes on longer than expected. So who knows what next Monday will be. I'll try to do another live video there. During the week, I may have a couple more videos, but probably will not be live. Like I said, there's a figure review that I'm doing. It's I'm not happy with my format right now, so I'm figuring out what format works for me. So, like I said, I don't want it to be your typical figure review, but I want it to be different. But I'm still figuring out what's my style when it comes to things like this. So we'll see. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll get to any comments. Let me see. Don't forget to please like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps. Hey, I didn't forget to say that. Usually I forget. Okay, folks. Thanks a lot. Hey, catch you next time.